Hello everybody. Today we'll be showing you guys how to change the transmission fluid on a 2013 Ford Focus SE with a manual transmission. We just worked on changing the oil. We put a full synthetic 5W20 oil into it. But today we'll be working on the transmission fluid, which is today we'll be using the dual clutch transmission fluid from Motorcraft picked up at Ford. And we'll be telling you about the tools and whatnot, because I actually checked YouTube and Google and I couldn't find anything specifically for this car. So I figured I'd post myself a video and maybe help some other people out. So basically, some of the things that we picked up is one of these gallon pumps. And I didn't actually realize before I purchased the transmission fluid that they were in these smaller bottles. So we're going to try to use it like this, and me and my friend here will try and pump it in. And then you're going to want a T50 Torx bit or a similar sized Allen key and a ratchet. And I went and picked myself up some sort of a drainage basin, you could say, at the dollar store. It cost me $4. So once we get underneath the car, I'll show you where the bolts are, and we'll get back to it. Alrighty guys, so here we are underneath the car, and as you can see, here's our transmission. I'll try to get the shadow out of the way for you. So right here is here's actually our fill bolt on the front of the transmission here, on the front of the car, and our drain bolt, sorry, crawling around on the floor here. Our drain bolt is actually back here towards the rear motor mount. So get the light just right there. So I know on the ST it's actually on the driver's side of the transmission. I'm pretty sure maybe the fill bolt is, but I kept looking around and I couldn't actually find it anywhere, because it turns out it's actually back here on the bottom of the transmission. So that's the motor mount there. As you can see, they got the aftermarket Cobb motor mount. And the drain bolt's just back there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get our drainage basin and place it just here underneath the drain bolt, and we'll actually loosen this one up so that the air can flow through, and then we'll slacken off the drain bolt with the T50 Torx bit and let that drain out entirely, and then we'll get back to you. Alright guys, so we're just here now, gonna slacken off the fill bolt a little bit so we can get some airflow through. So we're just gonna see, oh, okay. So as you can see, it was relatively tight, but not too tight. I did put a little bit of WD-40 on it to try to loosen it up a bit, let that sit for a few minutes. But that one's good for now, so we'll move back to the drain bolt. But first I'm gonna get my drainage basin, so give me 1 second and I'll get right back. Alrighty guys, we're down here now on the drainage bolt, and as you can see, there's not very much room in between the dog bone, I guess they call it there, for the rear motor mount and the bolt, so you're gonna want to watch yourself. Don't want any broken knuckles, and just want to, there we go. So it's not too tight, so you can keep that in mind when you're reinstalling the bolt, that they weren't on there that tight. So I'm hooked up here. Okay, I'm gonna pop my ratchet out and get my drainage basin here, and try not to lose the bolt, but if we do lose it, it's not the end of the world. And this is a long one. There we go. Alrighty, so you do want to have a good look at your transmission fluid to check to see if there's any metal particles or anything abnormal. So don't be afraid to actually have a look at it and take a feel. But as you can see, it's pretty good. Doesn't seem like there's any metal shavings, and it is a bit hard to tell since you're draining it into oil, or we are here, but we're looking pretty good. So I'm going to slacken off the fill bolt a little bit more, and we'll get back to you when it finishes draining. Alright, now that we have the drain bolt out, we want to ever so slightly, with our foot on the clutch, just go through the gears very, very gently, just to work out any of that old fluid that may be sitting in between any of those gears. But you just want to do it very gently because it could potentially be metal on metal at this point. So, but there would still be a fine sheet of lubrication there. But once you feel that you went through all the gears, should be good. Okay guys, back underneath the car here. We're just gonna clean up our bolt with a little bit of paper towel, and we're gonna wipe off just down here by the drain bolt a little bit, making sure not to push any dirt into the hole, but just make sure that hole's clean so we can get a good seal here. So we're just going to put this back in now. So another thing is you want to make sure that the fluid has finished draining completely. Just push this out of the way and get up. Make sure you don't cross thread the bolt. That would be unfortunate. Alrighty. So it should be easy to go in. It's well lubricated. And we'll just put that in finger tight. Give it a little wipe down. And we're gonna grab our ratchet, put it on tight, and squeeze it back in our tight area here. Had a hard time finding the hole. That's what she said. Alrighty. So, now think back to how tight it was when you put it on there. You're not going to want to bar tight. Now, we don't actually have a torque wrench here today. They're not in our garage, but should do it. I think it's actually the first time I've ever changed the transmission fluid on this car, so it's a learning experience for all of us. But that looks good to me, and we'll check back now when we put fluid back in it to make sure that it's not leaking, but we're going to move to the fill process. Okay guys, back underneath the car here, we're going to fill up the fill hole with the transmission fluid. So we got our fill plug out, and so as you can see, we got our hose. We're going to put it into the hole here, and we're going to have my friend here pump it into the hole, and we'll see how this works, because this alrighty, you can start pumping it there now.
Right, then get in it.
You can hold it out more. You got a little bit of slack. Try not to spill it. This fluid is about $45 a bottle, so
Right, I'm starting it.
Yep. Alrighty. So you want to go just go kind of slow so it'll flow, you know what I mean, and it won't start to come out the hole. Alrighty, so we're going to go kind of slow here, guys. You can see the fluid flowing in here. And basically, what you want to do is keep filling it up until it starts flowing out through the hole. So, the 2013 Ford Focus SE with the manual transmission, according to the shop manual, takes 1.9 liters of the dual clutch transmission fluid provided by Motorcraft. And it's quite expensive, but we have 2 liters here, so we're expecting to pretty much use the full 2 liters. And we'll get back to you when we get close to using all the transmission fluid. Just back here again, guys, just about to move on to the second bottle. And one thing I got thinking to mention to you is just look at the color difference of the fluid. So the fluid that came out was a way darker color than this fluid that's going back in. And as I mentioned before, this car has approximately 150,000 kilometers, and this is the first time the fluid has been changed, I believe. So so there's that. So we'll get back to you when we get close to finishing the second bottle. Okay, guys, so there's about 300 milliliters left in the bottle here now, so we should be expecting to see it pouring out relatively soon. And some people say fill it up till it starts pouring out. The shop manual says 0 millimeters or to 0.5 millimeters from the bottom of the drain hole, which doesn't give you very much room to play. So I'm just basically going to keep filling it up till it starts pouring out at me. And then I'm going to slap the fill plug bolt back in. And we'll maybe call it a day. And then we're going to get back up into the cab, and we're going to go through the gears again to see if it makes a little bit of a difference. And then we'll take it for a little drive and see what happens. Alright guys, so as you can see, we finished off the bottle, and it didn't actually start pouring out like I expected, but once I take the hose out, you can see that it does in fact start dripping down a little bit, but there is a little bit left in the hose. Let's see if we can get this out. Just give it a couple good squirts. Alright. Oh, is it okay? That's good. Alrighty.
Already?
No, I said alrighty. I think that should be good. How much is actually left in the other bottle? So we're just gonna have a look at how much is actually left, guys, and we'll get back to you now in a second. Okay, so we're just gonna tighten everything back up here now, and then we're gonna get back up into the cab and shift through a couple gears. Right, make sure we don't put this too tight. Tight enough. No leaks. No leaks back here. I think we did a fine job. Alright guys, back up here in the cab, and just have a look at how much better that is. So even without driving, just with my foot on the clutch here, you can feel the difference. Crazy. Even reverse. Amazing what a difference it makes. Alright guys, back in the car here. We have everything put back together, and we're gonna take it for a little drive now just to see if it acts any different. I don't really suspect it to behave much differently because the car wasn't acting weird to begin with, but we'll see. So I can already tell that the shifts are way nicer, like it actually goes into gear much easier. And I did have a little bit of an issue with like a stutter when I would start off from a stop. But we'll see if that issue is gone now. So no major issues screaming out at me right away. The car definitely does seem to be running way smoother. Definitely needed to be done. We're at about 145,000 kilometers here, so here we go. Got the bumpy ass roads of PEI. Yeah, definitely no complaints here. Alrighty guys, well thank you for watching my video if you watched it through to its entirety, and hopefully you'll come back for the next one if we happen to post another one.